Cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Here we are at FF episode 2036. I'm your host, Mike Matthews. Welcome to the show that's called Mike's Daily Podcast 2035. Wow. I got the number wrong. It's a lot of FF episodes, though, and lots of songs I sing at the beginning of every show. This song called Mike's Daily Podcast, yo. And I don't rap that much because, well, I lack that talent. But I like things that rhyme, so rapping can be Mike's Daily Podcast. Of course, part of that, part and parcel. Hey, here's something Mike's will be daily missing podcast. Especially if you're someone like me. Yeah! That grew up in the 80s. We're gonna miss malls. Miss malls. Yes, malls. At one time, we all flocked there. My dad and I used to go to the mall all the time. And people watch. Is that creepy or what? I'd go to the mall with my dad and we'd people watch. We'd look at girls. No, we didn't do that. But there are definitely, when you go to the mall, you see a bunch of interesting folks, don't you? And that's why I notice at the mall a lot of people dress up when they go to the mall. They try and look nice. Even though they're looking for clothes to make them look nice, they try and look nice ahead of time. And then there's the free lotions at the, what's that one place? The bath place, Bathworks. I used to go in there just to make my hands smell nice. I put a little of the tester lotion on and wow, I'd smell so good. But malls are going to disappear, everybody. They're going to go. I think my dad also liked the big comfy chairs. He used to like to go there and just sit. We'd never buy anything. Maybe I'd get a coffee. Oh, the one place I used to love to go to, we would go to the, I'm telling you, when I say that we went to malls, I mean we went to every single one in California just about. Let's see, the one over there in Pasadena, over by the race track. That's the, what's it called? What's that?
And here's today's podcast picture.
It's not Alameda, something with an A. It's that racetrack out there. Not Altadena. Oh, rats. I can't think of it. Not Del Mar. That's down in San Diego. Not that racetrack. My dad knew where all the racetracks were, by the way. Yeah. Kind of had some gambling issues. That's why yours truly tries to stay away from Vegas as much as possible, because I don't know. It might be genetic. I don't want to get involved with the gambling thing. Let's see. The podcast picture today is not of the mall. And it's not a Basil the Boxer. Although, listen to that voice. That wonderful, beautiful, resonant vocal. That's all I got is vocal. The vocal spectrum, let's just say. This podcast picture is a very interesting one. I talked about recently horror. What's his name? Oh, Agapius Honcharenko. He was a Ukrainian patriot and an exile Orthodox priest who ended up in Hayward, California, not too far away from Podcastro Valley where we are, the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Cafe Anyway is where I am. He moved to Hayward after he lived in San Francisco for a while, so he moved to Hayward in 1873. That's how far back we are talking. And he lived up on this beautiful hill overlooking the bay with his lovely wife, Albina. And the two of them were there for many years. I think he ended up passing away in 1915. I'm going to take a guess. 1916 is when his wife passed away, and so he lived a ways after that. But, okay, his grave is where his property used to be, and it's called Ukraina, and I talked about that recent podcast. Anyway, the podcast picture, Cafe Anyway, is of where he is buried. He's buried under this beautiful big tree, And if you walk there, it's absolutely free to go there. It's hard to find. But if you go there, you probably won't see anyone. We saw a snake, by the way. We saw a king snake. At first, I thought it was a baby rattler. Not a baby rattle, but a baby rattlesnake, which I hear are the worst. If they bite you, like, they can't stop giving you poison. And it can end up being very damaging to you. But this was not. We saw a king snake. And apparently king snakes like to eat other snakes. But they're apparently not as vicious as the rattlesnake. So we saw one of those. But anyway, the Cafe Anyway picture is of... The podcast picture is of this beautiful spot where Albina and Agapius are buried and have been for over 100 years. See that picture at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Okay. Cafe, okay. So, yes, we've done many FF episodes. Never from a mall, though. Always from Cafe Anyway. And the last time I was in a mall was just as the coronavirus was starting to spread in America. We hadn't gone into lockdown mode. But I remember walking through the Stone Ridge Mall over there in Pleasanton. And I was pretty much amazed how many people were there. And thinking, how much longer is this going to last? And now it's completely closed and has been for a while. Malls may be gone. I mean, I don't know any malls that are open in California. And like I said, I went to the Glendale Galleria, the Sherman Oaks Galleria. I've been to so many malls across the country. I'm not a big fan of them. At one time, they were all the rage. Oh, the Northridge Mall, which collapsed after the Northridge earthquake in the 90s. The Hayward Mall, or whatever that one is at the Bayfair Mall. That's terrible. The one over in Hayward off the 880 and Winton. I haven't been out very much lately. I forget what everything's called. That one's not the best. There are some lousy malls in the Bay Area. There's a really nice one in San Francisco. As we go outside a Cafe Anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley today. The Westfield Mall, is that the one near Powell and Market? That's amazing. But once again, just not a fan. It's just too much. It's depressing to me. So malls might be over with the coronavirus, COVID-19. However, I think I heard in the news today, a company that owns malls, actually their stock went up because even though the malls may be closed, they still got a lot of real estate, some pricey real estate that can be used for other things. It's interesting because the last season of Stranger Things the mall was featured prominently, and it was hilarious because they went full on 80s, the Orange Julius, everything that malls were about, the movie theaters. And there ends up being some Russian massive evil laboratory underneath the mall. So, yeah, the death of malls. Meanwhile, from the 80s, a big bean of a star, Bryan Adams, he apparently said recently that he had a big rant against China. He's mad at China because he blames them for the coronavirus and for all the concerts that he's had to cancel because of them. Very much he was throwing it at China. And now I'll make a joke about Bryan Adams, one of his songs. I guess he won't be running to them. Gonna run to you. Nobody remembers that one. I guess everything he doesn't do it for China. Yeah, no. You know, Bryan Adams, Ryan Adams used to get confused for Bryan Adams, and Ryan Adams hated that. Ryan Adams is that singer. He had a song called New York, New York, but it wasn't the Sinatra song. And he used to hate it when people would come to his concerts and go, "Hey, play Summer of '69." And he'd say, "I'm not Bryan Adams, I'm Ryan Adams." And he'd get mad and leave the stage. So meanwhile, Elon Musk is back in Fremont, as we talked about last show. Fremont has a very strict, can't walk around without a mask type policy. No non-essential businesses can be open. They're very strict there. And he's like, you know what? I'm essential. I'm opening up. And I guess Trump said, that's great. And I've gone on some interesting conservative talk radio Facebook pages, and the people on there are commenting like crazy how much they love Elon Musk and how he's sticking it to Alameda County and basically saying, go Elon, go. Go Musk, go. Musk, go. And, did you know that accidental poisonings from like bleach and such have gone up because of Trump's comments? People still don't get it that like that was a joke or just ill-informed, whatever that statement was. And here's something else that I find fascinating in the news today. Google Play, which you can listen to this podcast on Google Play right now, but apparently Google Play Music, if you ever bought any music through Google Play, which is the Google version or the Android version of Apple's iTunes, apparently all of your music that you've bought that's been sitting in there is going to get moved to YouTube Music. Because Google owns YouTube and they want to move everything to YouTube because I guess it's a bigger name than Google Play. I don't know what that means exactly. I don't know if Mike's Daily Podcast is going to get moved to YouTube, although we are already on YouTube. MikesDailyPodcast.com YouTube.com/MikesDailyPodcast is where you can find us. We've been on YouTube for, has it been 10 years yet? Just about, I'd say. And Putin's spokesman apparently has contracted COVID-19. This after Putin just recently reopened Russia and said, yeah, no coronavirus. Everybody go back to work. That is not going to bode well for Russia. It should be interesting to see how that plays out. It's unfortunate, but yeah. However, how many of us actually saw that coming? And how about this? So speaking of malls being closed and movie theaters being closed, although they're starting to reopen in places like Texas and Florida, Unhinged is going to be the first movie released in movie theaters. The first new movie to be released. Unhinged. It's with Russell Crowe. Remember that Australian guy? That's going to be coming out soon. Fascinating to me. All this stuff. I could just do this podcast about and call it fascinating things I've learned today about COVID-19. But that's not the best name. If anything, with all the craziness and if you feel anxiety, if you feel just anxiousness about what's going on in the world today, just realize you are living in interesting times. As Confucius said, or am I supposed to say that? Confucius say, may you live in interesting times. You do. And be thankful about that, because at least it ain't boring. Today, I was working from home, and I'm thinking, some people are actually bored working from home. There is no way I'm going to be bored working from home. There's so much going on. I can go for a walk. As long as Xfinity doesn't mess up with my internet, and as long as my wonderful HP... Or no, it's a Dell. My Dell. Hello? Oh, wait, I did the Lionel Richie hello. Hello from the other side. I'm setting fire to the rain. No, the computer company Dell made my computer that I'm doing all of this on. And it's been hanging in there, knock on wood. Knock on this wooden table outside a Cafe Anyway located somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Hey, speaking of which, we should say hi to some folks here at Cafe Anyway. Let's do that, shall we?
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. Oh my gosh, so, I used to like malls.
You did? Where'd you like to go at the malls?
I would go to, that pretzel place.
Oh, yeah. Is it Wetzel's? That was good. How about the Cinnabons?
Yeah, that was pretty good, Mike Matthews. So the gift shop is open, and we're not selling pretzels or cinnamon buns, but you can come in and get your mask.
Excellent. We are selling masks as we're cashing in on coronavirus. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Yes, Mike, I hope that the restaurants stay at only 25% capacity. Mm-hmm. Yes, I talked about that last show, about how in some states you can only have like 20% or 25% people of your place filled up, which I love that idea, because the restaurants in the Bay Area, they try and cram too many people. You want to sit down because you want to eat, but then they put you right next to someone, and it's like you don't even have any privacy. You can't have a nice little conversation with your lovely lady friend. No, because you're now talking to the person's next to you. Isn't that right, Floyd the Floorman, who kind of sounds like Larry David, who I stole this idea from? Yeah, I'm like... That was Larry David, everybody. Larry David he had just the funniest thing about that, because he's like at a deli, one of these really busy delis in Los Angeles. Yes, so please, eat at home as much as you can. Patronize the restaurants that you want to stay in business. The smart ones were already set up for the whole takeout delivery thing. And we're already all set to go. Okay, you can, we're going to put all our chairs away. You can't stay here. You can't go home, but you can't stay here. No, you can't eat here, so just leave. But take our food with you and buy it, pay for it, and go home with it. Those were the smart businesses, the smart restaurants that are still in business. And there's one that my lovely lady friend and I went to many times. That apparently they're doing really well. They're like selling out every day. And you know what? If you're a restaurant, I would strongly suggest you sell burritos, because apparently burritos are the cash crop, everybody, the cash food. Everybody wants a burrito, and you can take them home with you, and you can tell the people to leave with their burritos. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Tell me what you think about all of this. You can call me at 336MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast has been now for quite a dang while. Yay for us. Yay. Hopefully we won't be interrupted anytime soon. Thanks for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!